Welcome to The Power and the Pain, where your past isn't your prison.
It's the fuel for your purpose.
I'm Greg Pease, combat veteran, NLP trainer, and your guide to turn trauma into triumph.
And I'm Catherine, truth teller, mirror holder, and voice for the breakthrough hiding in your breakdown.
This is The Power and the Pain. Let's go. Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of The Power in the Pain. This week, we're going over the E word. We'll see how many weeks we carry that on for. We did the F word, the D word, the E word. We're going over emotions this week. And, okay, emotions, that's a broad topic. We are going over a concept all emotions are good. And we're going to dive into that. Like, what do we mean? And I also believe, like, if you were to ask me right now, Greg, so you don't believe that you believe there's no such thing as a negative emotion, I would answer you and say, no, I believe there's such thing as a negative emotion. Oh, well, what? You just said all emotions are good. Okay. So we're going to break down, hey, how are all emotions all good? How is there a negative emotion if all emotions are good? And, well, everything in between. Catherine, what are your thoughts on when I first said to you, hey, we're going to talk about all emotions are good? What were your first thoughts on that? Where'd your mind go?
My first thought was that, actually I thought about a parable as who is to say what is good and what is bad? Because I believe that emotions are kind of neutral and that we give them meaning. And, and we had kind of talked a little bit about that and, because I think that there is, in my experience with emotions, I look at them, they're just energy in motion. And so
Love that.
It is like allowing a pause for the emotion to kind of check in and go, what is this for? Or, rather than, just trying to either avoid it or not feel it if it's one that's a negative. I'm using air quotes.
Yep. For those listening, there's air quotes. Yeah.
This negative emotion that I don't want to feel, but then it can become suppressed, and then I'm actually, spoiler alert, feeling it longer because I'm trying to not feel it.
Yeah.
Those are just my initial thoughts.
I when you're like, you got to pause and feel, and I'm like, shh, you're telling everyone all the secrets. They're gonna get all our secrets. Man, that's powerful. I'm gonna walk through it here in a little bit. Take us through a literal exercise we can do at home to completely and totally process an emotion. I love that you talked about, it was a couple weeks back, a study, you referenced a study where they showed that, like, in as quick as 90 seconds, or I'm not sure if it was in as quick as, like, we probably could do it in less, but the study, I think, was like an average of 90 seconds. Like, if you just full on go into the emotion, like 90 seconds later, it will be processed. And we're going to talk, I'm going to share a process with you to process emotions. I'm going to share with you, when you allow yourself to go all the way in emotion and, like, fire all the ammunition, like, it does not take long, and you will come to a place like, how do I know the emotion's processed? You will come to a place where there's nothing else to say or do about that emotion. I mean, just you will literally, physically, not kind of, not metaphorically. Like, when you express it, like, let's say you're mad and you're like, they did that, I can't believe, blah, 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 blah. Keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going. Keep going. You will get to a place where you're like, let's move on. Like, you will get to that place. And it's probably closer than what you're thinking right now. Yeah. So highlighting, like, hey, we got to create space for them. We're going to talk about a little process in more detail later. And before I do, I want to highlight all emotions are good. All of our emotions are good in the sense that I was sharing with a friend the other day. They shared an experience they had and how they react to the situation. We talked about boundaries, how they set a boundary. And I was talking with a friend, and they were asking for my opinion. They're a friend and a client, and, like, how did I handle this kind of, which, who am I to say? And they're asking for feedback, so I'll share it. And what I shared with them is, like, emotionally, I told them, like, emotionally, Like when I say I can get on board with you emotionally, like I would have been pissed in that situation. And a lot of people that I get to work with can look at me, can see me possibly as a lens of like, man, that guy's, he figured it out. I'm just where I'm at. And then of course I'm sharing back. But sometimes people think, well, man, how do you don't ever get this, or you don't ever, no, I do. And I was telling this person, like, me, not metaphor, like me, if that situation was me tomorrow, I would be pissed. Mm-hmm. I would be pissed, like not a little bit upset. And so I told him, like, emotionally, I align with you. I've come to a place in my life where like anger used to be a bad thing, but now I realize like I'm allowed to be pissed. Mm-hmm. So I was sharing with my friend, you were allowed to be pissed about that. Yeah. And then I gave them some feedback. Logically, I probably wouldn't have moved forward the way you move forward in logic. But if you're asking me an emotion, would I've had the response you had in emotion? I'd had the same response you had. So I'm bringing this into all of our emotions exist. Like I would have handled the situation differently, right? And I expressed, well, here's what I think makes a very much so logical sense. But the emotion of I am pissed, that situation, that person was taken advantage of. If they couldn't access anger because it was a negative emotion, then they might have unconsciously just kept letting themselves get taken advantage of. All emotions are good. We need them. Like fear, like I imagine fear as like the most expensive and highly trained loyal guard dog of mine. Like they're just alerting me if like sometimes my guard dog might alert me of a squirrel. And then I gotta go check it out and then let my guard dog know like, hey, we're good, heal. Right. And then they will, because they're highly trained. So sometimes it's a squirrel, but like knowing that like you're not going to get one over on me because I got the best guard dog. That's my fear. I love my fear. I have gratitude for my fear. People say, I don't have no fear. I'm like, woo. Well, you're in trouble. You're in trouble because you won't know when it smacks you in the face. I have a lot of fear and I enjoy my fear and I'm grateful of my fear and I appreciate my fear. And the same with anger. Man, I used to be really good at anger. So like anger was my go-to emotion. That's how I expressed all emotions, was through anger. And so there was a time when I started my journey and I was like, oh my gosh, anger's so bad. I'll never do anger again. And then there was the time when I was like, wait, anger's not bad. Like it is literally like when I get angry now, I'm like super like it's almost like happy. I'm like, something pissed me off. I'm like, oh, I'm mad. Something. What do I need to look into? Like it's like I'm allowed to have that. What do I need to look into? Like I'm not mad for no reason. Go ahead, please.
Well, I was gonna say it's like putting your hand on a hot stove, and
Let's
so
go.
like an emotion is there to like indicate like something violated my boundary.
Let's go.
Or something is like you said, like that anger coming in. It's an indicator that something's out of alignment. And so if we check into it instead of getting caught up in what's this emotion that I'm feeling, and then this is negative, I'm not supposed to feel this is bad, instead of just going, oh wait, my hand is on a hot stove, I'm gonna pull it back. I don't advise anybody to hold their hand on a hot stove for 90 seconds, even though that whole that scenario is
Express
an
it
average,
too.
right?
Right.
But I think that's the part, is that like sometimes there are things where we just need to like recognize it and go, whoop, okay.
By the way, shameless plug. You can come firewalk with us for 90 seconds.
Yes.
We'll chit-chat more about that another day, but we do these firewalking events. And I mean, this just happened to come up with that stove and a different topic. But when you do firewalk, there is that expression and out-of-body experience. Okay, diving back into emotions, diving right back in there. You nailed it. I have my experiences and I get to experience working with people. Because we think these emotions are bad, we won't allow ourselves to feel them. Because we don't allow ourselves to feel them, they fester for longer. So we think like I have tons of experiences and like working with clients. They'll say, I see this. Here's a pattern that I see frequently. I work with a client and 4, 5, 6 weeks in, they're like, this is awesome. Like my life is changing. And then maybe 10 or 12 weeks in, or sometimes it might be 6 months later, I say, I don't know, Greg. I thought I thought we healed. I did the work. I don't understand. I know the tools. I went through the stuff and I still get angry when I think about what my parents did. I'm like, what's the problem? What's the problem? And like, there's this belief that I shouldn't feel anger no more. Like I processes it. I mean, I'm like, no, like, or hurt. Like someone was talking about hurt with their parents the other day. I'm like, no, hurt is you get to have this human experience in which your hurt is evidence of your heart. You love your family. You're hurt because of the experience you had with your parents. I don't know where you're at on the forgiveness journey. Like there's a belief by some like, well, if you truly forgave me, you won't have hurt. Look, I don't know, maybe so, maybe not. Listen, but wherever you are on your healing journey, like you have the rest of your world to finish it. Right now, if you feel hurt, can you just identify that and let it be? Like I am hurt that my parents did this. Like that exists.
Yeah. Give it space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let it breathe.
Yeah.
Share your story.
Yeah.
And then also like going in, which we'll talk about. I got an exercise for you guys. Going in and feeling the hurt. Mm-hmm. We're like, there's like this like almost unconscious, unspoken rule. Like it's bad to go in if that's a bad thing or something wrong. Bad hurt is bad. No. It's part of our human experience. Good, please.
Well, I was going to say, and I feel like that there is like, I feared feeling some of those negative emotions because I was like, what if they don't stop?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
What if I get in it? And then if it's,
yes.
But then there's also this, like, I feel like emotional regulation or self-command, any of those things, it recognizes the space for the emotion to, again, just be in motion, but you don't have to live with it and you don't have to stay in it.
100%.
And you don't have to let it navigate the ship, or the car, whatever you're driving.
Whatever you're riding. Maybe you got a jet,
whatever your vehicle of
golf
choice.
Cart, hoverboard. Allowing, let's see, allowing the space for yourself to have that emotion. Oh, expressing it. I definitely relate it in the early side of things. So listeners, where you at on your journey, right? Your check-in. Like if you relate right now, like I don't want to go into that because like there's this unconscious, unspoken rule or belief. I might get stuck there. Okay, that might not be the labels you're using for yourself. You might say, but then I'll always be that hurts there. I'll always just be hurt. Some people think like, well, my parents did this thing. I can't on that thing. If it's okay, I'll always be hurt by it. Catherine shared that a minute ago. I definitely shared this had these experiences in my journey. If you're identifying with this right now, how do we get past it? I'm sorry, I've open looped you guys like 10 times to share a process here in a moment. Okay. But here's the thing. Allow yourself to have the experience. Mm-hmm. Treat it like an experiment. Be curious. I'm not asking you to believe that it works yet. I am not asking you to believe that it works yet. I'm asking you to be curious and experiment. Go relentlessly express an emotion in some manner and just experiment. Prove me wrong, right? And find that, try to get, like, I want you to go try to get stuck in an emotion, and I'm going to tell you can't. What I mean when I say you can't, go try to get stuck in it while expressing it. Yeah. So if you're sad, go ugly cry and say all the things. Yeah. If you're afraid, go blow it out of proportion as to like, what's the word? Because eventually you're going to blow this thing out of it's literally an NLP process. Like in there's something called a fast phobia model. You can literally blow a phobia out of proportion so much that the person no longer can maintain the phobia. So you'll just keep blowing it up. Yeah. Because they were like, well, if 1,000 spiders could come, it could be 1,000,000 spiders, and the spiders could have wings. And like, okay, you're freaking the person out. You guys don't, make sure you're trained if you're doing this in a real situation. But eventually it gets so big that it's like, well, that's not real. Oh shit, neither was the first one. Yeah. Like fear. So you can blow fear out of proportion. You're like, well, that's okay, yeah, actually, yeah, none of this real. Okay.
I love this. I'm super excited to hear what the tool is.
The process. Let's dive in. Let's dive in because everyone's like, you've been teasing this thing. Okay. Let's dive right in. Three things we need to do. The first thing we're going to do, so first we're going to prepare, and then I'll give the 3 steps. Prepare is create space. Air quotes for those listening, create space. What is create space? So there's not a literal definition. So what I mean is you have to, the next time you feel an emotion, I pick one, I don't care. Let's go with anger. The next time you feel the emotion, if you're anything like me, and depending where you're at in your journey, you may have never been actually allowed. Like there was a time in my, like anger was not allowed to be, anger was just bad. You're not allowed to express it. Okay. So you might have that. So you may have never expressed your anger in a healthy way before. Okay. That's possible. If that's true for you, the next time the emotion comes up, you can't know the answer because it doesn't exist. So you have to go inward. So if you say, I don't know. Yeah, no, I know. I'm telling you don't know actually. Okay. So go inward and be curious. The next time you feel anger, just ask yourself, what do I need to like how do I need to express this? And so you might be like, I need to break some shit. Like I need to throw something. I need to punch something. I need a weapon to strike something. I need to blow something up. You can buy Tannerite. It's legal. Whatever. I need to yell. I need to curse. I need to write a letter. First, like identify what is it that I need to do, right? Yeah. When I feel the emotion. Once I identify, here's what, I want to shoot something. I want to hit something. Okay. Creating space for yourself is how, when, where can I do that appropriately? So creating space for ourselves is like, I'm encouraging you to express your emotions, all of them. And then as we go on this journey, let's be adults, as in like, I don't want people just willy-nilly in society just expressing every emotion they feel. We'd never be able to get anything done because everyone has nonstop emotions. So like express them, create space for yourself first, and allow yourself to go to that space. So when I say create space, let's talk about this like in the real world, right? Let's make it make sense a little more. Let's say when I like to just yell and curse when I'm angry. And I'm at work and I'm pissed off and I need to create space. Perfect. Time to go get lunch. Go in the car, roll the windows up. I've literally done this before. Here's what I mean. Just let 8 years of Marine Corps, just let it fucking rip right at the front windshield. And literally, I've done this before many times, but literally like my wife has gotten in my vehicle after me and she's like, she's like, there's something all over your driver. She's like, I tried to clean it at the gas. I couldn't get it off. It was my spit from inside. Just from like, I didn't spit on my way. Okay. Just from like projecting and like, blah, 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 like literally just dots dried all over the window baked in the sun. And she's like, something on here. I was like, yeah, I don't know what that is. You just go inside. I'll take care of it. Okay. Creating space for ourselves. What is it that I need? And how do I get to a spot that I can do this? Okay. So this is that space for whatever the emotion is. Because if you say, like, if I told you to express emotion, yell and scream, and you decide to yell and scream, then you say, no one lets me yell and scream. You have to cause it. So create the space is the first thing. Okay. So you have to, how can we do this? You're the one that has to make the choice. 3 steps, easy breezy. So I love to do this standing up. You can do it in your head. I encourage you to do it standing up, and I encourage you to do it out loud. You can do it sitting down and in your head. So those variants don't matter. All right. I encourage you to stand up and out loud. And I encourage you to, so first you're going to position your body to face, let's say, a wall. It doesn't matter what you're facing, but let's pick a wall. You're going to face a wall, pick a spot on the wall, look at that spot on the wall. And the first thing you're going to do is you're going to express that emotion. And we call this position 1. So I have a saying, nothing's going down until your model of the world gets validated. Like until you validate you, you're playing a fucking game with yourself. Once you validate you, then you can actually start making decisions. Position 1.
I feel like that's a really powerful thing to say. Like legit. Yes. Agreed.
Position. No, please. Okay. Position 1 is you validating you. Here's the catch, right? If you can have a guide take you through, like I love guiding people through this exercise. It's always, by the time people get there, they're like, oh my gosh, but you can do it yourself. Here's what you need to be mindful of. Naturally, when we go into position 1, we'll start to spit our venom, but then our conscious will say, we can't be mean. So then we'll start validating the other person. No, this is only validate you. Here's what it'll sound like. You'll be like, they knew that I did this and I told them this thing and I sent them that email. And I know they're busy. Nope. Stop. Nope. We don't validate them. I mean, spit venom. Like let it, or don't, I don't know, whatever exists inside of you. Yeah. Okay. If it's crying, like ugly crying, see that person, be yourself. You're seeing that person and like say all the thing. It is so fucked up that you did this. I can't, like, I fucking trust it. This is the epitome of like breaking my loyalty, whatever it is. If it's fear, like totally like see it and feel like, fuck, I'm afraid that they're like, people are going to go against me. They're going to fucking badmouth me. Like people are going to join them. My social media is going to freaking drop down. My money's going to have an impact. I'm not going to be able to go on vacation. I'm going to have more stress in my, like, let it all out. All. Like you're afraid, like your guard dog is like barking. When you're letting it out, like your guard dog's barking, when you're letting it out, you're like, all right, show me what it is. Okay, what else? Okay, what else? Okay, what else? And then because you went and looked, then you can either like, all right, we need boundaries. Talked about that last week. Or I can be like, talk to my guard dog. Okay, I checked them all out. We're good. So position one, we're physically facing a direction. Unload, show clear, all your side. I mean, like most of us, some of us have like, we're too good at this and like tone it down in public, but most of us will, it's going to actually be hard to even go like, this is all you, all that, like this is, no one's going to hear this, see this. This is you validating you only. And I mean like send it. Okay. Step two, position two. I'll encourage you. You can do the whole thing sitting down and you never even have to move. You can do it inside your head. It doesn't actually matter. It's just about going through this, having the experience. But when I do it with people I love, actually move your body 180 degrees and face the other wall. So physically move your body, face the other wall. This time, listen, everyone, position two can be like the hardest one for everyone. This is why the guides are so important. Hire a guide to take you through. They'll just keep guiding you, keep guiding you, keep guiding you. You can do it on your own. Here's what it looks like. Position two. I love you guys. I'm about to say it. You have to imagine you're the other person. It can be really hard to do if it's important for you to make it hard. We will make things as hard as we need in order to extract value. So we will make, if someone takes 2 years to quit smoking, they'll take 2 years so that they can extract the value to say, I did it. It took me 2 years. I did it. They could have quit cold turkey. I don't care which way they choose. I just know the reality that they could have. It's not important to me which way they go. We'll make things as hard as we need in order to extract value to say, I did it. So if it's important to make it hard, and you can just do it. I mean, it sounds ridiculous, but like you can just do it. You could. If you were to imagine, and it can be hard because we block ourselves. We're like, I would never do that. I'm never that, because we think if we imagine that person, like all of a sudden, like that's our identity now. It's not you. It's not your identity. So if we can imagine ourselves in that person's position, and then what would they say from their position? But you have to imagine that you're them. Here's what it looks like. To give everyone an example, right? Let's make it real. My stepmother. Ooh, this is a pretty serious one, right? So like be pretty hard if you can imagine being me to imagine myself as my stepmother. And it was. I had to make sure I extracted some value. But over time, eventually I got to, and position two looked and sounded like this for me. I am so sorry that I did that. I had no clue how to react. I needed help. No one ever helped me. I was never seen, never heard. I wish I did not have these emotional outbursts the way I do. I'm so sorry that I ever even did it the first time, because I was able to get away with it, because I was so good at it. It became an expression for me. I hurt so bad knowing that you were my expression. At the deepest core level. Like, she never said those words before she left this earth. And I'm real good that she felt them somewhere. And even if she didn't, I gave her that feeling in my version. It can be really hard. You can just do it. It sounds like, yeah, just do it. No, like just do it. Like, like experiment. Position two is, what happens is we have never seen until we do this, we've never seen our trespasser side with compassion before. The first time we ever see it with compassion, it changes the way that we ever see that movie. We can never hold that memory the same again. So now I can see that I'm mad at this person, and then I got to see what I'm mad at with compassion. Hey, for those listening, mind blown. Like when you do this the first time, it's like we've never stretched our minds outside of this context. Like I'm allowed to be mad, and I have compassion for what happened as to why I'm mad in one context.
Yeah.
Last one, easiest position, easiest. 1 and 2 are your ones that you got to dive in for. Easiest one, last one, position 3. So first time we're facing a wall. Let's say we're facing a wall to the right, and then we do 180 and we're facing the wall to the left. Now we're going to do a 90-degree turn. So we're either facing the wall, the front or back, it doesn't matter. So 3 positions, 3 walls. So we did left, we did right. And now we're literally going to move our body and look as if we could see both of the other 2 positions, because now we're facing the other wall. When we're in position 3, you're going to dissociate or detach from the problem. So it's no longer you standing there. You have been hired by a company to audit this situation and only share objective facts that you know about this situation. You can't share any opinions, any subjective facts. So then you're going to, in position 3, you're going to look at this position. You have no emotional attachment. It's not you. You've been hired for this. And then objectively. So like things that are facts, not opinions. So like, she didn't mean to do this, opinion. She needed help, fact. So you just look at both sides and just list your facts on both sides. That's it. Then what, Greg? No, have the experience. That's it. Have you ever, like, we won't realize it, but we've never had an opportunity to fully validate our model of the world. We've never seen their side with compassion. And then after that, see the whole situation through logic, only no emotion. When you do those 3 things with any experience, any emotion, any situation, it completely, like it alters the neurology for healing. Let me gather thoughts, questions, feedback on that process.
I love it because we just talked about physiology in the mastermind this week too. And so even just like that shift makes sense. And I can see kind of some through line even with doing some other things like Byron Katie's The Work and like Judge Your Neighbor, because it kind of brings us that empathy and then like brings it back into self.
It allows you got excited there. It allows you the containers as well.
Yeah.
So like the containers of F off, I'm right. The container of, oh my gosh, they need help. And the container of like, well, here's the facts. And because without these positions without the containers, it's hard to, what do you mean compassion for them? I thought I was right.
Yeah.
If we mix them in the same bowl, it gets a little, but when we move our body, we create some containers.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that was impactful for me was when you were talking about that friend of yours that you had talked to that had an experience and that you then reflected back like, I would have been pissed too. And I maybe would have also behaved differently. And also, is that a place where, and I don't know, because I don't know the situation, but I have curiosity around if that emotion had been met and allowed to express,
100%.
then maybe the
100%.
action would have been different. And I
There's
think
no
that's
questions
that
asked.
part of suppression. And you had said something earlier that when we were not on air, so I don't know if you want to repeat what you were talking about kind of suppressing or like holding, not being able to suppress because...
Yeah. So we talk right before we hopped on. Thank you. So all emotions are good. And then I also believe that there are negative emotions. And we actually, at the very beginning, we taught, so then how do we dichotomy? So the existence of the emotion is neutral. And then I believe there's such thing as a negative emotion. So Greg, how do emotions become negative if they start as neutral? So we have experiences right now. Okay. You're listening to us on the podcast. And if you cannot logically process, so when you can logically, I forget left brain, right brain, whichever one, when you can logically process the situation, then the brain just stores it as a learning. It becomes part of your coding and we move forward. We're always recoding, coding. Okay. We have an experience that's adverse and then the conscious mind like really struggles to logically process it. So an emotion pops up, anger, my friend. So logically, this doesn't fucking make sense. Like I thought this and this is what's going, wait, what? Anger. So anger is what we said it earlier. All anger is wait, what? Something's wrong. That's all anger is. Cool. So logically, so how does an emotion become negative? A situation happens. We're not logically making sense of it. So the emotion pops up and it's simply saying, hey, something doesn't look right. And then if we don't, you don't have to do these 3 positions, but that I wanted to give you guys a tangible. Okay. But however you choose to express the emotion, if we don't express that emotion, then we unconsciously then store it as an unresolved emotion. It's unresolved, so it stays, and our body, our mind, unconsciously, it's a placeholder. So it says, hey, you're busy, Greg. Keep going. I'm gonna store some unresolved anger here. It'll pop up in the future. We got something to take care of over here. Something logically didn't make sense. Now it's unresolved. So unconsciously, as I go out in the future, certain things will trigger this. And all my body is doing saying, oh, hey, yeah, this thing. Hey, we still got milk sitting out over there. Remember that? So then it becomes a negative emotion, air quotes for the listener. Then it becomes a negative emotion because it is having a negative effect on us. But inherently in the beginning, it was neutral. It was good. It wasn't just neutral. It literally was positive. Like it was there to serve us. So take us back. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that because I feel like that when we do those, like that suppression again, and that personal experience as well here, like I did that where it's like, just stuff it down and then, but the body keeps the score. And so like those things of, like it's quick to trigger sometimes or, those, it almost feels like we can't control it.
Yeah.
It's like a reaction as opposed to responding to oh, hey, like,
Correct.
I'm noticing this thing that just happened. But the only other thing is that I do breath work. And so we release those stored emotions.
Which is, by the way, like if you have never experienced breath work for releasing an emotion, like you have to do a thing in this positioning deal.
Yeah.
I mean, you're gonna have to breathe in breath work, but
yeah,
man, like if you've never experienced it, like it is powerful for everyone. Like if you, when your RAS, like when it recrosses, like you're going to see an event or something, like get involved with it. I had to dive into
very different than a breathing practice, which is like the meditative, which is great too, to calm down, but, allowing those things to move through and be released, it's such a powerful thing because we're not stuck. We're not stuck with them. We can release them. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the part, but we don't have to apologize for our emotions.
Yeah.
And so, I know I was very apologetic if I would cry or if I get, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
Instead, now I have a friend who does this and I love it. And so I've adopted it myself. When some things come in, like, especially if it's like tears or something where it's like kind of out of the blue, it's surprise instead of I'm sorry, because like I wasn't expecting that. But I also don't think that it's something that I need to apologize for or be ashamed of, because like if I take something and then I add shame to the mix.
Oh, and I think, we'll talk about a little bit more on this, but I'm a big advocate of, it's okay to apologize. It's a good thing if when we feel called. 90% of our sorries can just be exchanged with thank you. Mm-hmm. And it helps everyone feel so good in the situation. Like an example I give people, like I show up 5 minutes late. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry. There was traffic. And listen, we don't ever pay attention to it, but like the other person, we are forcing, metaphorically, we're forcing them into a spot where they have to say, we all know what the response is. We already know what the response is. We're forcing them to say it. It's okay. What's okay? You disrespected my time? Whoa, Greg, you get a little aggressive there. Hold on. What if we walk in the room and I say, hey, I'm 5 minutes late. Thank you for being so patient. I did not plan as I should have. Oh, I got to do an extra eat. They get to feel appreciated instead of walking in the room as a victim. And I'm like, can you make me feel better? I'm like, let me make you feel better. Thank you. You were paid. I should have been here 5 minutes ago. Like, I appreciate you. Yeah. We'll talk about more in depth another day, but exchanging sorry for thank you.
Yeah. Well, I love that because then it also gives sorry a little bit more weight if we're not overusing it.
Bingo.
For all these like little things.
Bingo. So when you need to
that was me this morning.
apologize.
I was running late because there was an accident on the interstate, and so I got here 3 minutes after. And instead of being like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry."
Yeah.
You know?
Yep. Okay, I love it. So Emotions. All emotions are good. Make sure you guys check us out next week. Catherine, here in just a minute, if you have any last words that you want to share around emotions, listeners, make sure you guys check us out next week. We are going to dive into symbolic healing, the subject. I'm going to leave you with a teaser there. We'll see you next week. We're going to take a deep dive into it. Catherine, what's your final thoughts? What do you want to leave everyone with for emotions?
I feel like we've had some good conversation around this. Like, feelings aren't facts, and allowing them to be, and asking yourself, like, what is this trying to show me? Just approaching with curiosity. I feel like that experiment is good. And so much of, allowing it to be witnessed by someone else can be really powerful, and being intentional about who you choose to that. Cause if someone's mirroring back it can be, we can kind of perpetuate something.
Yeah.
But in some of those spaces, I do believe that there really is, again, witnessing and allowing that to go forward, I feel like is a very healing act.
I agree. I love it. It was a powerful episode. They always are, but today was really, really great flow. We'll see you guys next week.
If this hit you deep, trust that.
Your pain has power, and your story isn't over.
Follow, share, and send this to someone who you think might benefit.
I'm Greg.
And I'm Catherine.
And this was The Power in the Pain. Keep stepping into your power.